On my mother's side, my ancestors were Irish and Italian. The difference was they weren't coming here to blow up and murder innocent civilians. And if the Democrats can't tell the difference between immigrants coming, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free, and people who may be radical Islamic terrorists, that's what's wrong with the Obama foreign policy in the first place.
Senator Ted Cruz appearing on the Fox News channel last night. Among other things, the junior senator from Texas said that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton are, quote, apologists for radical Islam, and that we will not defeat the Islamic radicals until both the president and the former Secretary of State can call the extremists out for who they really are. For more, let's welcome in the former Lieutenant Governor of New York, Betsy McCaughey. Betsy Skypes in tonight from Connecticut. As always, we appreciate your time here on Newsmax Prime. You and I have been around politics for the bulk of our adult lifetimes. Have you ever seen such a separation with Democrats like the president and the former Secretary of State refusing to put together the words Islamic terror?
Yes, and I've never seen such a dangerous denial of reality, because the fact is we are in a world war against Islamic terrorism, a war that's being waged on almost every continent, and every kind of weapon is being used against us. And for these politicians to refuse to label it what it is clearly disqualifies them from national leadership.
Well, it is interesting to see as this debate on Syrian refugees continues, Betsy. You've got the two top-tier outsider candidates, again, some would say being provocative. Dr. Ben Carson compared the Syrian refugees to, quote, rabid dogs, end quote.
That's incorrect.
That's incorrect? Well, get the record straight for us.
The Syrian refugees rabid dogs. He suggested that terrorists who might be infiltrating the refugee camps are rabid dogs.
Fine, that is a distinction that does make a difference, and I appreciate that clarification. Donald Trump has said that we need a national Muslim database of some sort.
Let's clarify that one too.
Okay, go ahead.
CNN distorted very dishonestly what Donald Trump said. In the full interview, he was asked a question about keeping track of Muslims in the United States, but then he veered toward discussing the need for a wall and discussing tracking illegal immigrants in the United States and registering them wherever they are found. And CNN cut that interview, edited it, and attached his comments about illegal immigrants to a question about tracking Muslims.
So media malpractice, you're saying, is the case, fostering that misperception, okay?
They can't seem to defeat these outsider candidates with their gotcha questions, so now they're resorting to dishonesty.
Fair enough. We appreciate the clarifications, Betsy. A couple of minutes remain. Jeb Bush was on this program last night calling for ground troops to battle ISIS. Now, it's interesting, though Hillary Clinton doesn't want to join the words Islamic and terror together, apparently she agrees there should be ground troops. Let's take a look.
We should be honest about the fact that to be successful, airstrikes will have to be combined with ground forces actually taking back more territory from ISIS.
So is that a positively Clintonian approach? As in, what do you think of that?
It certainly is. Mrs. Clinton has assumed every position on every topic. What's really unfortunate and more dangerous for the United States is the unwillingness of these politicians, including particularly Mrs. Clinton, to discuss the dangers of allowing Syrian refugees in. They must be stopped until we can vet them. And the Obama administration actually on May 8th of this year issued an edict lowering the standards of screening. No one seems to be discussing this, but under that May 8th edict, you can be the spouse of a terrorist and still be admitted in as a Syrian refugee. Or you can admit that you yourself have offered help to terrorist organizations as long as you claim that you were under some pressure, not necessarily duress, but just pressure. And after I read this May 8th edict, it was clear to me that unless you strap a Kalashnikov to your body on the way into your screening interview, you will breeze through.
And that leaves us, Betsy, with a question. I've got 30 seconds for the answer. What is going on in the mind of the president? Is it just denial, or is it something more devious? 20 seconds.
I think it's such strong ideological blindness. His father was a Muslim. Valerie Jarrett was raised in that part of the world. They cannot imagine that the Muslim ideology poses a danger to the United States, but it does.
And on that note, Betsy McCaughey, you have our thanks. When we come back, Congresswoman Diane Black returns with an interesting story about IDs when you fly. Stay with us.